Bottom of the fifth inning from White House Field, a 6-1 Wareham Gateman lead. Runners on first and second for the Harwich Mariners with no outs. The 1-0 pitch to Ben Norman is in there for a strike. Tyler Keyser comes in for Wareham. He has a 6.75 ERA, 1.5 WHIP. We saw him earlier this season versus the Harwich Mariners.
Yeah, Keyser, native of Winter Garden, Florida, plays his college ball right back at Miami. So teammates with Gabe Rivera, who is over at first base currently. You mentioned before 1-0, or 0-2 to be on the season, 6.75 ERA, making his 10th appearance. He has started one game as well, including one save.
Meadows off second, Rivera off of first. The 1-1 pitch is swung on and fouled off over towards the Wareham Gateman dugout, closer to the on-deck circle, and the count 1-2 on the lefty Norman. The Mariners looking to chip back into this Wareham Gateman lead, and it would be very important if Norman could at least get the runners over to second and third. The 1-2 pitch to Norman misses outside, and the count 2-2 Norman be followed by the 2 and 3 hitters Shunk and Lipsius. Neither of them have a hit yet today, but both of them are hitting well at the plate.
I think there's still probably 2 more dangerous hitters in this Mariners lineup, and if Norman can find a way to get on or move them over.
The 2-2 pitch, breaking ball runs low and inside, and now the count is full at 3-2 after Keyser was ahead in the count. 0-2, it's now a 3-2 count on Ben Norman. You want to swing to protect the plate, but if Keyser's going to walk you, you're going to take it. The 3-2 pitch is swung on and missed. Norman goes down swinging. The pitch was a little bit low and inside. And there's one away in the bottom of the fifth inning. Runners still on first and second with one out. As the 2-hitter in the Mariners order, Aaron Shunk, kicks around some dirt from the right side.
Now, even though Norman goes down swinging, put a nice at-bat together, not much you can ask for, put worth the count away towards full, and just Keyser just end up overpowering Norman in that at-bat.
First pitch to Shunk misses low and outside, and the count 1-0. The 1-0 pitch from Keyser. Swung on a high, pop-up foul out of play over the Wareham Gateman dugout, and the count 1-1 on the right-handed hitter.
Again, this is going to be a big inning for the Mariners. If they can get both these runs across, it will cut the lead in half. They can't be leaving too many guys down on the base paths. I'll come back to haunt them as it did yesterday. That's 11 guys on base compared to Katuit's 7 in that 3-3 tie after 12. So almost averaged out to 1 guy per inning, but there were a couple, outliers, left bases loaded.
The 1-1 pitch to Shunk, swung on a line drive down the right field line, and it's just foul. Would have been a base hit, and probably extra bases for Shunk, who would have scored at least 1 run, possibly 2, as the blooper down the right field line doesn't end up falling, as it just goes probably 6 inches foul down that right field line.
Yeah, that was really close. That was like 2-3 inches just off the line, and just ever slicing, and just misses. Just maybe a millisecond earlier, would have had that one in fair territory. I guess I said the baseball gods were against the Mariners today. That hop over to Gonzalez. Now that I think they definitely are now.
Well, it's a 6-1 Wareham Gateman lead. Mariners have struggled to come through with base hits tonight. They have just 3 of them. Meadows off second. Rivera off of first. The 1-2 pitch of Shunk runs low and outside. Very nicely picked by the catcher, Roscoe. That ball gets by, and there'll be runners on second and third with 1 out. But he's able to keep it in front of him. The 2-2. Caught on and fouled off behind home plate, and the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Shunk hitting .277 on the season. It's cooled off recently. He was red hot earlier in the season. Had an 11-game hit streak, RBIs in 9 straight games at one point. The 2-2 pitch misses low, and the count runs full at 3 balls and 2 strikes on Aaron Shunk. And he's faced with that similar dilemma. Either he doesn't like a pitch, he can work that walk, and that would load the bases with just 1 out and give the Mariners an outstanding opportunity, but you have to protect the plate too.
We saw Norman's last at bat had protect the plate and just couldn't quite catch it with a fastball. See what happens here. 3-2
pitch, swung on a high pop-up into shallow right field. The right fielder loses it in the lights. Now going out is the second baseman. An outstanding sliding catch from Valenzuela, as Goldfarb had no idea where that ball was. He threw his hands up, and the second baseman, Valenzuela, comes out into right field and slides and makes the catch going backwards. That's the play of the night from the second baseman, Valenzuela.
We say he likes to admire Jose Altuve play his game like him. That's a Jose Altuve-esque type of play. Altuve very good with the glove, and a nice job by Valenzuela to get through the obstacles in the light to the darkness and finds his way out into very deep, almost towards right field, and make that grab. Again, he was playing double play depth up the middle and able to make that catch almost towards right field.
And the first pitch to Andre Lipsius is swung on and fouled off over towards the Wareham dugout, and the count 0-1. So it's still Meadows off of second and Rivera off first. Mariners have the first 2 runners on base. There's a 3-2 count on Norman. He ended up striking out swinging. And then a shallow fly out, or technically it's a pop out because it's an infielder, to Valenzuela out in right field. The 0-1 pitch. Swung on and fouled off by Lipsius again, and the count 0 balls and 2 strikes. Lipsius taps home plate once. The 0-2 delivery. Swung on and missed. Struck him out. Oh, what's going on? Excuse me. There's going to be
it's like a balk
before the pitch, maybe?
It's going to be a balk.
You're going to say that or catcher's interference, but Lipsius isn't advancing, so
I think it's good.
I guess it's going to be a no pitch and a balk. So, well, that's going to be quite a wrench in what was originally going on. It looked like it was going to be strike 3 end of the inning. All of a sudden, runners on second and third with 2 outs. Lipsius is hitting the ball well at the plate right now. If he can get a base hit, this could become a 3-run game. So an important turn of events.
Again, a single can play 2 runs for the Mariners. They desperately need runs as well.
The 0-2 delivery swung on, a ground ball right over towards short. Kreidler fields double clutch, tosses across the diamond, and that will do it. The Harwich Mariners strand 2 and trail this game 6-1 to the Wareham Gatemen. Head to the top of the 6th inning. It's Mariners 1 and the Gatemen 6. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Top half of the 6th inning from White House Field, a 6-1 Wareham Geatman lead. Austin Rooney alongside my broadcasting partner Thomas Cinzarella. We're glad to have you with us this evening as the Wareham Geatman got out to an early lead. Joe LaSorsa on the mound as the first pitch to Jacob Goldfarb is swung on in a gentle line drive over towards the third baseman Shunk, who was right there to make the catch for the first out of the inning.
That was a little squibber off the end of the bat and right into the mid of the third baseman, Aaron Shunk. Nice little one pitch, one out for the newly entered pitcher in Joe LaSorsa.
Lyle Lockhart digs in from the right side. First pitch from the left-handed pitcher LaSorsa. This is upstairs for ball one. Left-hander so far this season out of St. John's, a 5.75 ERA as the 1-0 pitch is swung on. A shallow line drive into center field, diving and making an outstanding catch is Ben Norman. For the second out of the inning, it was a shallow line drive into center field, and Norman came on, used some speed, and dove to make the catch, and there are 2 away in the top half of the 6th.
I'm surprised Norman he almost dropped that one as well. I'm really surprised to hang on, but what a play by Ben Norman out in center field, taking away a base hit from Lockhart and keeping Lockhart over or off of first base, I should say, and he was disappointed as he made a turnaround first and then found out that Norman held on. And
Kreidler digs in to the right-handed batter's box. First pitch from LaSorsa goes to the backstop. He missed wildly outside with that one. Count 1 ball and no strikes. I was saying earlier on LaSorsa, he has a 5.75 ERA this season out of St. John's. In 15 2/3 innings, allowed 18 hits, 6 walks, and 10 earned runs. Pitch is swung on and missed, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1. Breaking ball in there for strike 2 in the count 1-2. Base paths are empty with 2 outs. 6-1 Wareham Geatman lead. The 1-2 pitch, a fastball missing just inside in the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes on the right-handed hitter Kreidler.
And that pitch almost caught the inside corner. Nice job at Meadows to try to just move it over a little bit more towards the right, towards the inside corner. Didn't get the call, though.
2-2 pitch. Oh, I beg your pardon. The 3-2 pitch misses outside the scoreboard. Everything had it at 2-2, but it was a 3-2 pitch, and it is a walk issued to Kreidler. Oftentimes when the scoreboard's wrong, I'll see the home plate umpire correct the count. He did not. So everybody's led to believe that was it, but it's a walk to Kreidler, runner on first base, 2 outs. A 6-1 Wareham Geatman lead as Luke Roscom stands in from the left side. A lefty-lefty matchup. The left-hander Joe LaSorsa versus the left-handed hitter Roscom. First pitch misses outside, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. We saw Roscom come through back on Sunday with a big 3 RBI double to tie the game.
I still can't think of what he looks like at the top of the thing, and it's gonna bug me with his batting stance.
1-0 pitch misses inside. I'm gonna really look for it this time when he digs in from the left side. Let's give it a good look. I do agree. It's very high, and it's sort of moved around in that circular motion. It's a 2-0 pitch. Fastball in there for strike 1 on the count. 2 balls and 1 strike. Runner on first, 2 outs. 2-1 pitch. Runs inside, and the count goes to 3 balls and 1 strike. The 3-1 pitch from LaSorsa. Fastball at the belt, count 3-2. LaSorsa hasn't had perfect command since entering tonight's game. Has struggled Throwing a lot of balls, 8 balls, 6 strikes. You want to have more strikes than balls, but so far it hasn't affected him. He worked a couple of quick outs before he walked the 6-hitter, and now it's the 3-2 pitch is cut on and a foul tip. Kreidler was walked, and Roscom swings and foul tips the pitch, and the count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes. The 3-2 pitch. Breaking ball swung on and missed. Really nice off-speed pitch from Joe Lasorsa. And Roscom was way out ahead of that one to end the top of the 6th inning. After 5.5, it's a 6-1 Wareham Gateman lead. We're headed to the bottom of the 6th. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Bottom of the 6th inning from White House Field, a 6-1 Wareham Gateman lead. Austin Rooney alongside Thomas Zinzarella on a beautiful Thursday evening. It's the 4, 5, and 6 hitters due up for the Harwich Mariners. Nate Eichhoff, followed by Danny Casals and Tanner Morris. Eichhoff 1 for 2 on the evening. He came around and scored a run his last time up. First pitch to Eichhoff, swung on and missed. And the count 0-1. Eichhoff doubled to lead off the top of the 4th inning. It was the bottom of the 4th inning. It was the only run the Harwich Mariners have scored this evening. The 0-1 pitch swung on, a ground ball. Diving stop by Valenzuela. Throw over to first, not in time. Nicely done by Nate Eichhoff to beat out that ground ball. He's got himself a base hit to lead things off in the bottom of the 6th, and he continues to hit the ball well at the plate.
That was an unbelievable effort by the second baseman Valenzuela. Really full extension of the body, threw from his knee. That's a very tough play to make. And Valenzuela is looking like a Gold Glove Award winner right now for this Wareham Gateman team.
Impressing the scouts defensively for sure, as the 5-hitter Danny Casals digs in from the right-hander's batter's box. First pitch swung on, a high fly ball to right field. And the right fielder Goldfarb takes a couple of steps in and makes the catch for the first out of the inning. So there's one away in the bottom of the 6th. The 6-1 Wareham Gateman lead as Tanner Morris, left-handed hitting shortstop, step in from the left side. Eichhoff off of first base with 1 out. Tanner Morris came in for Matt Gorski early in this game. First pitch misses low for ball 1. But 3 or 4 defensive changes. I think it was Norman who moved from left field to center field, and then Lipsius from short to first, And Tanner Morris ended up slotting in at shortstop in replacement of Tanner Morris, who was in center field. The 1-0 pitch misses outside in the count, 2 balls and no strikes, and the left-handed hitter Tanner Morris. The 2-0 pitch swung on, a ground ball through the hole on the right side for a base hit. Mariners will have to go station to station as Nate Eichhoff had to hold back close to first base to make sure that he wasn't hit by that ball as it was lined through the gap between the first and second baseman Lockhart and Valenzuela for a base hit.
Yeah, almost acted as a guard there against the first baseman Lockhart. He stood basically right in his way, and Lockhart had no vision whatsoever of where that ball was really going to end up going. So nice job by Eichhoff. Good base running there.
Runners on first and second now with 1 out for the Harwich Mariners, seeing if they can try to drive home a couple of runs and put themselves back in this ball game. First pitch swung on and a foul tip off the catcher Roscom, and the count 0 balls and 1 strike to Logan Driscoll. Eichhoff off of second, Morris off of first. The 0-1 delivery. Fastball misses upstairs in the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Logan Driscoll starting to heat up at the plate recently without a hit today, though, as the 1-1 pitch is a breaking ball on the inside half for strike 2 in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Driscoll. Logan Driscoll had a very good year at George Mason, hitting over 350. Yet to convert to Cape Cod, yet he's had some solid at-bats recently, as I was talking about earlier. As the 1-2 pitch on the outside corner for strike 3. Driscoll goes down looking. There are 2 away in the bottom of the 6th.
Number 31, the catcher.
It's tough right now for Driscoll to go down, especially Eichhoff over at second. Rose on first and second. Again, Mariners have just unable to solve the hitting with guys in scoring position problem.
Mason Meadows, who doubled his last time up, looks to try to do something with that issue and give the Mariners at least a run back. Runners on first and second with 2 outs. Mariners don't want to force anything, but if you can add a run in the bottom of the 6th with a base hit, I think they're going to try to send him if they can. The first pitch misses low for ball 1. If there's no chance he's going to get home, then don't send him. But I think if it's a close play, the Mariners in desperate need of runs, they may try to be aggressive in this situation. The 1-0 delivery, caught on and missed in the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Eichhoff off of second, Morris off of first. The 1-1 pitch to the right-handed hitting catcher Mason Meadows is in there for a strike at the letters in the count, 1-2. The 1-2 pitch cut on and fouled off to the backstop behind home plate, and the count remains 1-2. The 1-2 delivery from Kezor is swung on, and a weak foul ball over towards third base but it's going to go and drop foul. Shenton unable to get to that ball. It was right over towards Coach Pascarosa in that third base coach's box.
Yeah, some of his former players putting out on Twitter earlier this week, they Pascarosa, they call him Fingers, and the best BP guide if you want to hit around a BP.
1-2 pitch. Breaking ball swung on and missed. Meadows goes down swinging to end the bottom of the 6th inning. Mariners strand 2 more runners. At the end of 6, it is the Wareham Geatman 6 and the Harwich Mariners 1. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
And welcome back inside White House Field for the top half of the 7th inning. The first pitch from Joe LaSorsa to Skylar Hunter is swung on and missed for strike 1. So far it's been all Gateman. 6-1 Gateman lead here in the top of the 7th inning. And 0-1 pitch is swung on and lifted out of play over towards the first base bleachers side. Count as no balls and 2 strikes.
The Gateman struck early, got 2 runs in the top of the 2nd, and added 4 more in the top of the 4th.
0-2 pitch just misses outside for ball 1. 1-2 pitch is once more just getting a piece of it as Hunter and fouled back and out of play. 1-2 is the count on Hunter. Hunter this evening is 1 for 2 with a walk. He singled and scored back in the 4th, and again, he able to spoil that one off. And wait to see another pitch from LaSorsa. LaSorsa so far pitches scoreless inning with 1 walk and a strikeout. As the 1-2 pitch is swung on, foul tipped in the middle of the catcher Meadows, and just like that, Skylar Hunter goes down swinging as make that back-to-back punch-outs now. Luke Roscom struck out in the 6th.
Yeah, and LaSorsa is throwing a lot of strikes now. 8 of his last 9 pitches for strikes. He started out 5 strikes, 8 balls, and was having trouble finding that zone. But over the last 9 pitches, 8 strikes, 1 ball. Now 13 strikes compared to the 9 balls.
First pitch to the second baseman, Sahid Valenzuela, misses upstairs for ball 1. Valenzuela, second baseman out of Cal State Fullerton. 1-0 curveballs in there at the belt level for a strike. Kind of is back up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Mariners wearing their home cream uniforms with their red and white stirrups and their red and cream hat. And Gateman wearing their blue road uniforms as the 1-1 pitch is a slow high chopper back to LaSorsa. LaSorsa fields it, sets his feet through on the first, and Valenzuela is retired for out number 2. So of 2 outs, 2 up, 2 down so far for LaSorsa. He'll have to face the ever dangerous third baseman in Austin Shenton. Again, Austin Shenton's been hard to keep off base this evening. He's walked, he's singled, and struck out and reached on an error. Lefty-lefty matchup. La Sorsa from the windup. The first pitch, curveball, bang, swing and a miss from Shenton. Mentioned before, Shenton only trailing Matthew Barefoot of the Harbor Hawks in Hyannis for average, as right back to the curveball in the outer half of the plate for a strike. It's 0-2 now. La Sorsa gets his sign from Meadows. Shenton moving some dirt around, calls time, and will step back out. La Sorsa still waiting. Shenton, of course, an all-star who will be representing the Gibman here on Sunday, as the 0-2 pitch outside corner, and La Sorsa gets Shenton looking. Make that 2 punch outs in this inning. A 1-2-3 seventh after 6.5. It is the 6-1 lead in favor of the Gibman. Listen to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. And welcome back inside White House Field for the latter half of the 7th inning, and 6-1 Gateman lead. The Mariners trying to chip in here. It's now in the latter half of this game, so they got to get some runs quick and early. First pitch to Gabriel, a big swing and miss. So he takes off his batting helmet and puts it back on.
Rivera had just 2 walks coming into tonight's game. Well, he's matched that total tonight. Each of his first 2 plate appearances have ended in a walk.
0-1 pitch, Rivera is not the belt of off-speed pitch there for strike 2 from Keyser. Took something off there as the count is no balls and 2 strikes on the right fielder out of Miami and Gabe Rivera. The 0-2 pitch runs just a bit off the plate for a ball. Count now is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mariners trying to get the leadoff man on here in Rivera. Nobody on, nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th. 6-1 Gateman lead over the Mariners. The 1-2 pitch to Rivera is swung on in a high pop-up on the right side of the infield. The first baseman moving all around, and it drops in for a base hit. Rivera scurries back to the base. It started all the way in fair territory, and it was a weird route run by Lockhart. He went all the way across the bag into foul ground. Rivera trying to avoid him. He comes all the way back into fair territory, and the ball just drops between him and Valenzuela. And I think he just lost the ball up for a while. It was in there for a long time, and I think he just kept changing on him.
Yeah, it's going to go down as an error there as Gabe Rivera reaches first base. Well, the result for the Mariners is the same. They'll have a runner on first base. It seems like this has happened over the past couple of innings, though. They haven't been able to cash in. Let's see if things are different this time around.
First pitch to the center fielder, Ben Norman, misses inside for ball 1. They've left 7 men on base so far, including 4 in the last 2 innings.
That's going to have to change. The Mariners want to come back in this game.
Especially when they had someone in scoring position as well as the 1-0 pitch. A cut on and miss by Norman. As the count is back up at a 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, Gabe Rivera has now reached base 3 times tonight and not a single time via a hit. 2 walks and an error.
So Rivera stands off at first after reaching on an error. The 1-1 pitch to Norman. Pitch misses down the zone for a ball as the count heads to 2 balls and 1 strike on Norman. So the sun has fully set probably 45 minutes ago to an hour from White House Field. There's pitch darkness out here except for the lights that illuminate this field. 2 balls, 1 strike to count. Righty-lefty matchup. The pitch. In at the knees for a strike. As the count evens back up at 2 balls and 2 strikes on the center fielder out of Iowa.
Well, there's an interesting pitcher we have warming up in the Harwich Mariners bullpen. I'm not sure if he's seriously warming up or not, but Andre Lipsius was throwing.
I mean, not Andre Lipsius. He's
Well, it was, and now he's walking back to the dugout.
he might have been just throwing. 2-2 pitch misses for ball 3. Count is 3 balls and 2 strikes. So count is full now on Norman here with nobody out and Rivera over at first base after reached on an error. The 3-2 pitch to Norman. Strike 3 call in the outside corner, and Norman goes down looking.
Yeah, that pitch looked a little bit low, but home plate umpire Mark Delaney calls out Ben Norman. It's the difference between first and second with no outs and a runner on first with 1 out. Just to go back to Andre Lipsius. In his senior year, or actually this was an underclassman, sorry. You're an underclass high school degree back in 2015. That was his junior season. He hit .390 at the plate, and they pitched a complete game to seal the state championship with his win for his high school team. So he has done some pitching, and he even won a state championship with his arm on the mound. So you never know.
First pitch to Aaron Shunk misses for ball 1, and now the catcher Roscom goes out to talk to Keyser. So 1 out, runner off at first base. One 0 pitch is fouled off at the plate off of Shunk as the count is back up at a 1 ball and 1 strike. One and 1 the count on Shunk. Rivera off at first here with 1 out. 6-1 Gateman lead. The 1-1 pitch to Shunk. Outside misses for a ball. Throw back down to Rivera. Rivera sliding back in over at first as Lockhart applied the tag.
What a nice play by Luke Roscom. He does a great job. He's moving his body from left to right, and he scoops that ball with his glove and makes a perfect throw with all of his momentum going to his right over to first base, and Lockhart applied the tag very quickly. Rivera lucky to be safe back at first base. Outstanding play by the catcher.
2-1 pitch cut on and missed by Shunk. As that is strike 3 on Shunk. So 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th inning. 2 outs now.
A couple of scoreboard issues this inning.
6-1 Gateman lead here in the bottom of the 7th. Rivera still off at first. First pitch to Andre Lipsius on the inside corner at the knees for strike 1. No balls, 1 strike is the count. Righty-righty matchup. The pitch. Check swing by Lipsius, but it's in there anyway for a strike as now he's quickly in the hole at no balls and 2 strikes. Lipsius so far is 0 for 3 after going 4 for 4 just 2 days ago in Katuitt.
And he was 3 for 5 yesterday at home.
0-2 pitch runs up and inside as Lipsius decks out of the way.
You know, hitting's one of those things that's very streaky. You'll go on an outstanding streak, and then you'll fall back down to reality, and then you'll get back up. It'll just be a matter of time before he breaks out again.
As the 1-2 pitch, as Lipsius rolls over that one towards the Harwich dugout. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. And I was listening to the All-Star kind of break a little bit, and MLB Network was doing a great job breaking down a hitter and mentally too. And you can go 4 for 4 one day, and then next thing you know, you go for 4, and you're right back to where you were before, where you're just doubting yourself at the plate. And 1-2 pitch inside corner, strike 3 call, and Lipsius goes down looking. So make that a pair, striking out the next 3 hitters after Rivera reaches on in the air. So no runs across here for the Mariners in the home half of the 7th inning. 6-1 gaming lead after 7. Listening to Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. And we'll go back inside White House Field, the top half of the 8th inning. 6-1 lead for the Gatemen. A new pitcher on the mound is none other than the first baseman, Andre Lipsius. He shifted over to the mound, and Driscoll out of left field now. And over at first base, Zykov is the first pitch to Idens, is in there for strike 1.
Well, Andre Lipsius has not pitched in college yet. He will be pitching against some of the best college hitters. Let's see how he will fare tonight.
0-1 curveball misses down below the knees for a ball. County's back up at 1 ball and 1 strike.
He did pitch back in the state championship his junior year. Actually won the state championship for his high school.
1-1 ground ball over towards shortstop. Morris throws off the back foot over to first. Nice pick by Eichhoff over at first to get Idens for out number 1. So Lipsius so far, that's the first batter he sees. Nice play by Morris in the hole over at shortstop to get Idens. 1 out here in the top of the 8th inning. 6-1, a Gateman lead. As Andre Lipsius, you can tell his velocity might not be as, up there as some of the other guys that have pitched in today's game. But
the other thing
if
about
he can record outs, I mean, why not?
Exactly. And the other thing about velocity is an interesting thing. You'll see players throw that ball 90 miles an hour across the diamond. But when it comes that time to actually going on to the mound, it's a totally different thing. There are outfielders who will throw the ball in excess of 100 miles per hour. You put them on the mound, they can't throw 85.
First pitch to the DH, Pavin Parks, is on the inside corner for strike 1. 0-1 pitch runs a bit upstairs on Parks. Canavans back up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Parks so far 1 for 4 with 2 strikeouts to go along his first 2 times around. Of course, Austin Wood had 8 punch outs tonight. 1-1 pitch to Parks is chopper That goes behind home plate for a strike. Count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes on the DH this evening. So now more interested, who's going to pitch the 9th inning? Is Lipsius going to continue?
I'd have to think Lipsius will continue. There's no one up in the Harwich Mariners bullpen.
So 1 ball, 2 strikes to count on Parks. He takes off his batting helmet and now will restrap the batting gloves. He taps his time par bat on home plate. And the 1-2 pitch from Lipsius. Pitch just maybe slipped out of the hand and misses outside for ball 2. Count evens back up at 2 balls and 2 strikes on Parks.
Yeah, he's trying to go with a breaking ball there. I don't know the last time he threw a breaking ball in a game, and it's a bit of a different situation.
2-2 pitches sky to ball towards the left side of the infield. The shortstop Morris really moved around, and he makes the grab and falls back down, and that might be some of the problems that the first baseman Lockhart had last inning. Morris moved in over towards third, and then he moved back, and then moved back in, and then back again, and then falls on his bottom to make the grab.
Out in right field for the Wareham Gateman had the same exact issue. He lost the ball on the lights and was rescued by Valenzuela out in shallow right field. This time, losing it in the lights, I guess, for a half second was Morris. Shunk also couldn't find it, and then he sort of gave way to Morris once he sort of seemed to have some sort of sense of where that ball was headed.
So the first pitch to the right fielder, Jacob Goldfarb, misses for ball 1, and just those balls, they're hit so high up in the air, and it can be tough at times to make a grab with the ball that's still hit high up in the air. As the 1-0 pitch to Goldfarb is chopped high over towards first base. Taking himself as Eichhoff and just speeding Goldfarb over at first way. 1-2 inning work by Andre Lipsius. And heading into the bottom of the 8th inning, 6-1 game in lead. Listen to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. And we'll go back inside the broadcast booth from White House Field here, the home half of the 8th inning. New pitcher on the mound for the Wareham game. In 7 games, he is making his 8th appearance, so 12 innings pitched, 14 hits, 8 runs.
Is someone who you'd like to have start this inning. He's hitting .328 ever since he had that rough start. We didn't have a hit in his first 28 at bats, but ever since then, he's been one of the Mariners' top hitters. Again, hitting .328, 24-61 during that stretch.
First pitch, curveball to Eichhoff from the outside, the corner for strike 1. Only 5 hits this evening for the Mariners, and 2 of them have come off the bat of Nate Eichhoff. As the 0-1 pitch almost squeezes Roska, misses for ball 1. Can't even back up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Eichhoff to this evening, 2 for 3 with a double, a single, and a strikeout. Really not a lot of offense generated from the Mariners this evening. When they have had guys on, they just haven't scored them.
That's right. A lot of runners left on base tonight for the Harwich Mariners.
As the 1-1 pitch is popped up high in the air, but they'll find the seats down the third base side.
5 left on base in the last 3 innings, and you're not going to win many ball games when you have those sort of statistics.
1 ball, 2 strikes is the count on Eichhoff, facing the right-handed pitcher Cody Carroll. Carroll gets his side from the windup. The 1-2 to Eichhoff. That's a broken bat up towards the first base side as Lockhart fields it and will step on the base himself. So we didn't see many broken bats this year, and Eichhoff breaks that one right on the handle. He was sawed off by the pitch from Carroll. As you know, Eichhoff finished the swing. All he had was a little, maybe 3-inch shard of the bottom of that barrel. The rest of it went flying out towards the first base side. That can be dangerous at times, too.
It can. It actually, if he had gotten a little bit lucky, Lockhart may have been a little bit distracted by that barrel, and maybe he would have been able to get to first base. But Lockhart did a nice job to make that play and work with Carroll to get the out.
So now 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. 6-1 Gateman lead over the Harwich Mariners. It is now Jordan Green who is pinch hitting for Danny Casals. Casals was 0 for 3 to this point, and it is now Green out of Clemson. First pitch to Green, big cut on and missing, gets a piece of it.
I was talking to Green yesterday about his time at Clemson, and there was a crazy inning that occurred earlier this year between Clemson and Notre Dame, in which Clemson scored 17 runs in an ACC tournament game. And he told me, after I got to 8, I was just felt bad for them. You don't want, after you get to 8 runs, there's a point where you're like, that's enough.
Well, it's not fun anymore.
And, 17 ties the MLB modern-day record for most runs scored in an inning, which was back in the 1950s by the Boston Red Sox. And so, again, he was just saying, this was something that it got to a point where, it was no longer fun. You're just like, this is crazy. He did record a hit during that inning.
As the 1-1 pitch to Green, cut on and missed again. And this time goes to the backstop for strike 2. Count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes. And I've been in a couple of those where it's been a very lopsided inning. When you play some teams that are not as good as you are, and I'm from Connecticut, so it's more the teams from the Hartford inner city type baseball teams. They weren't the best baseball players, and that's why they had the mercy down in Little League, because they could be 20-1. 1-2 pitch to Green, curveball in there for strike 3, and he goes down looking. So 2 up, 2 down so far for Cody Carroll, as against the pinch hitter Jordan Green, looking for out number 2.
Yeah, and then he was also talking a little bit about how it was not only once you get to that level, that once you for Clemson, they had already moved on coming into the game was totally irrelevant for them. So since they had already moved on because they had won their first game, it was just like, not only are we up by this margin, this game doesn't even mean anything for us.
Yeah, no, it's definitely it's tough. First pitch, Terry Morris misses low and outside for a ball 1. Morris out of Virginia, also in the ACC as well, as the 1-0 pitch to Morris is swung on a line hard down the hill over there on the third base area. Kenneman's back up at 1 ball and 1 strike. So the Mariners, we will be back here tomorrow. It will be the last game of the 3-game homestand before the All-Star break. We'll play Falmouth tomorrow, and then New Orleans on Saturday before the All-Star game, right back here on Sunday, as the 1-1 pitch to Morris once more is popped up and out of play. Over on the third base side, counts 1 ball and 2 strikes. And of course, we talked about the Mariners who will be making the All-Star team, but also tomorrow we'll see some as well. Jeff Truddy, the Falmouth manager, will be managing the West Division team. 1-2 pitch to Morris, misses low and outside for a ball. Count is 2 balls and 2 strikes on Morris. And in this game alone, we got Austin Shenton, Saheed Valenzuela, who's made some spectacular plays at second base, Jeremy Idens, and the 2-2 pitch to Morris. Is swung on and a high fly ball out towards right field. Looking back is Goldfarb at the warning track, and he makes the catch. So Morris just got under that one. It had a chance of going out, and Goldfarb goes all the way to the track to make the grab. So after 8 full innings is the Gatemen 6 and the Mariners 1. Listen to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
Curry College offers 14 NCAA Division III athletic teams in sports such as football, baseball, softball, basketball, hockey, soccer, lacrosse, tennis, cross country, and volleyball. Read about the success of the Curry Colonels and their championship teams. It's all online at www.curry.edu.
And welcome back inside White House Field for the top half of the 9th inning. And Andre Lipsius, who was the shortstop to start things off. Then he moved over to first base, and now he's back on the mound for his second inning of work. So he's done almost about everything.
Yeah, he was throwing 82 to 84 with the fastball, and the curveball was down at 60. But for a guy who hasn't thrown a curveball in quite some time, that's somewhat understandable.
Looks like a first pitch curveball misses for ball 1 to Lockhart. Count as 1 ball and no strikes. And just talking about him and just moving around all positions, I believe there was a player back at Texas this year who played all 9 positions in one game. You don't see it a lot anymore as the 1-0 pitch is lifted out of play for a strike. Count as 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, how do you play both pitcher and catcher, and then you go all over the place afterwards?
It is possible. It happened in April as the 1-1 pitch is cut on and missed.
So let's see.
Count as 1 ball and 2 strikes. It was Jake McKenzie, played all 9 positions.
It's only happened 4 times in MLB history, 5 times. Well, it's Bert Camparanis, is 4, Cesar Tovar, Scott Sheldon, and then Andrew Romine. Romine did it most recently in August.
And a 2-2 pitch is cut on and miss, and Lipsius strikes out Lockhart for the first out. I believe Romine with the Tigers.
Yeah, he went left field, center field, right field, third base, shortstop, second base. So he's going left to right. And then he went catcher, second base again, pitcher, and then first base.
Of course, his brother Austin Romine is
playing for the Yankees now. Yeah, he's the backup catcher over there. He's getting some playing time.
Of course, the Romine brothers as the first pitch to the number 7 hitter, the shortstop Crowder, is cut on and missed and fouled back into the mitt of Meadows for strike 1.
Listening to some New York sports radio before I came in today, and people calling about telling, oh yeah, they should play Romine over Sanchez. All this, some claims that were quite interesting.
A 1 pitch to Crowder, broken bat over towards second base. Green fields it, shuffles it over towards first base, and Crowder is retired for the second out here in the top of the 9th inning. 6-1 game in lead over the Harwich Mariners. As Lipsius so far, an inning and 2/3, including a strikeout, not too shabby for a guy that hasn't pitched since high school.
Oh, wow, it's about as good as it gets. 5 up, 5 down. Maybe they should put him out there a little more frequently, get some more innings out of him.
So now 2 outs here, and it is the number 8 here, Luke Roskim. First pitch runs inside as he twirls out of the way for ball 1. 1 ball, no strike to count on Roskin. Bat on his shoulder, brings it back up. Moves it around in a circular motion as the 1-0 pitch is cut on a miss for a strike. Kind of it's back up at 1 ball and 1 strike on Roskin.
I know you mentioned Trot Nixon, Jason Veritek. Did you ever find out who the third player was?
I have not. It's definitely someone more recently as well, and I just slipped my mind as the 1-0 pitch, 1-1 pitch is cut on a miss. That was a very defensive swing as just trying to lay off was Roskin, but he swung all the way through it. So count as 1 ball and 2 strikes as Lipschitz is searching for his second punch-out victim of this evening. The 1-2 pitch curveball misses low and outside for a ball 2. Count as 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, he's going with the curveball. I don't think that this slower curveball is quite as effective as the fastball. If he can locate the fastball well, he should be just fine.
2-2 pitch misses inside. Count runs full. And honestly, it could be, it's a combination of someone today. It might be almost a Johnny Damon type of swing, too. As the 3-2 pitch is lined down the right field line for a fair ball. As it heads towards the corner, and Vera will head down there, rounding around first, heading towards second, and holding up there is Roskin. So that's a 2-out double here in the top of the 9th as the Gaiman trying to maybe tack on a few more.
Honestly, a little surprised Roskin decided to hold up at second base. He could have gotten to third pretty easily if he had tried, but he was heading to second base right when Rivera was throwing that ball in from the right field corner.
Yeah, I thought he could have a chance at third. That's why I thought he was going to make a turnaround second, but just ended up not. So
May have even had a stand-up triple if he had tried, but Roskin opts to stay at second base.
Of course, we saw back in Wareham, Gaiman score 4 in the 9th, so anything is possible here as the first pitch misses to number 9 here, Skylar Hunter for ball 1. Of course, the Gaiman went on to win that game in 10 innings, 7-6 final score back on Sunday in Wareham as the 1-0 pitch is a ground ball over towards the left side. Morris goes over to his right over the first base in time as Hunter, the speed center fielder, is retired for the 3rd out. But so Roskin was left over at second base after his 2-out double, and after 8.5 innings, the Mariners have to score at least 5 to continue into the extra innings in 6 to win. And so 6-1 a game in lead after 8.5. Listen to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Welcome back inside White House Field for the home half of the 9th inning. Last steps for the Mariners, unless they score 5 or more, they can walk things off They score 6, so leading things off. It'll be Logan Driscoll, 79ers do it for the Mariners.
They're going to need a little bit of what Wareham was able to do to Harwich on Sunday. Wareham was down 6-2, and they put up a 4 spot in the bottom of the 9th inning and tied the game at 6-4, winning it in extras.
First pitch from Cody Carroll is cut on and missed by Logan Driscoll. Count is no balls and 1 strike. Driscoll so far this inning has not reached base. He is 0 for 3. Driscoll started the DH spot, moved out to left field the last 2 innings since Lipsius has been pitching. So again, a bunch of guys been shifting around the field. Logan Driscoll just another one of those guys. Right-lefty matchup. The 0-1 pitch to Driscoll was popped up high in the air, out above us in the press box, as the count is now no balls and 2 strikes, and Carroll is ahead of Driscoll. 6-1 Gateman lead over the Harwich Mariners, and all 6 runs were scored from the 4th inning, and before that, 2 in the 2nd, 4 in the 4th, and the Mariners scored their lone run in the bottom of the 4th. 0-2 pitch to Driscoll was skied up high in the air, out towards shallow center field. The second baseman Valenzuela calls off the shortstop Kreidler and makes the catch. So Driscoll, leadoff man, is retired here in the bottom of the 9th inning as Carroll picks up his first out in this 9th inning.
Number 31, the catcher.
Yeah, just a pop-up into shallow center field, and second baseman Valenzuela went out into the shallow outfield grass to make the catch. And first out's never good if you want a rally to start things off in the bottom of the 9th.
Of course, Valenzuela, as I mentioned before, will be representing the game and in the All-Star game on Sunday.
And deservedly so. He's hitting over 300. He's making outstanding plays in the field.
First pitch to the catcher, Mason Meadows. Curveball's in there for strike 1 at the belt. Meadows so far 1 for 3, including a double back in the 5th. However, he's trended over at third base. Again, that's been the story of the Mariners so far. They've had a few opportunities, not many. Only 5 hits this evening as the 0-1 pitch is ground over towards third base side. Shinnon moves to his left, throws across his body over the diamond for out number 2. So 2 up, 2 down so far. The Mariners are down to the last out here in the 9th inning, and is up to the 9-hole hitter, the right fielder, Gabe Rivera, to continue this game. Again, Rivera, we mentioned before, he has reached base every single time that he has come up this evening, including 2 walks and reaching on an error. Most the error was a fly ball out towards the first baseman, Lockhart, who just couldn't quite track it in the lights, and it dropped in for a base or reaching on an error. First to get Gabe Rivera is cut on and missed. A wild swing there. So Rivera will dig back into the right side.
And a look ahead at the Mariners' schedule. Tomorrow they will play Falmouth back here at home.
A 1 pitch to Rivera, swung on and lasered out towards center field. The center fielder Hunter going back, and it'll drop in for a base hit. It will run up all the way against the wall. Riding second, aiming towards third. There's Rivera. The throw will not be in time as it runs up towards the left field corner, and just like that, Gabe Rivera hits one out towards straightaway center, and he ends up on third base with a 2-out triple, and the Mariners are showing some life here late in the game. And, man, I can tell you that was a rocket off the bat.
Yeah, that was
Gabe Rivera.
390-plus feet. He destroyed that ball to center field. At a lot of ballparks, that's a solo home run, but Rivera's on third base with a triple.
Yeah, too bad we're not playing at YD today. We could have had a couple home runs. Especially the center field, only 350 out there. As with 2 outs, it is Ben Norman. First pitch, curveball misses down in the zone for a ball. Count as 1 ball and no strikes. So Rivera off a third after his 2-out triple. He now picks up his first hit this evening. Remember, he reached base 3 times, as I mentioned before, so he's 1 for 2 on the evening. 1-0 pitch from Carroll to Norman. Curveball skips into the dirt, into the middle of Rascom, as the count is now 2 balls and no strikes. So Norman, who reached base once this inning, is 1 for 4. He singled all the way back in the first to get the first hit for the Mariners, but hasn't done much since, so he can change his fortunes here with a base hit and score. Rivera as a 2-0 pitch to Norman is in there for a strike.
It's back to the top of the order for the Harwich Mariners. Got a couple runners on base. Maybe you never know what's going to happen, but it's still be awfully tough for the Harwich Mariners to try to get anything going. They have a runner on third base with 2 outs, but a long ways to go.
Carroll from the 1 of the 2-1 pitches. Curveball cut on and missed by Norman. Guys now 2 balls in, 2 strikes, and the Mariners are down to their last strike here. Two the count. Carroll from the 1 up. The 2-2 pitch to Norman. Cut on and missed, and he gets past Norman as he goes down swinging. So Rivera is left over at third base, and again, that is the story of this evening. Just runners left in scoring possession. Not much going on for the Mariners offense as they're defeated by the Wareham game by a final score 6-1. Again, Wareham 9 hits, Harwich 6 hits, and just left on base just a little bit too high for the Mariners' liking. And Austin, what are your thoughts about today's game on both the pitching and the offensive aspect?
Well, let's start with the offense. The offense just wasn't there when the runners got on base. They got runners on base, got a few, but after that there was nothing really going on for the Harwich Mariners, and they'd get a couple runners on and they would not be able to move them over to third base, and they wouldn't be able to drive them in with base hits. And that was the story of tonight's game. Rivera triples there at the end of the game, can't drive him home. I think there were 6 runners left on base in the last 3 or 4 innings of work. So again, if you can't drive home runners, you're not going to be winning any ball games. The Mariners have to do a better job of that. And then in terms of the pitching, well, the pitching was a different story depending on who was in the game. Austin Wood looked okay, looked good at sometimes, looked outstanding at points, but other times he just couldn't control his stuff. So it was sort of all over the place for the Harwich Mariners pitching staff. Wood, again, started off the first inning was good. Second inning, he ran into a lot of trouble early, allowed a couple of runs, and then he comes back with 3 straight strikeouts, then strikes out the next 3 batters in the third inning, gets the lead strikeout in the fourth inning, and then he starts to allow a number of base hits and walks again, and the troubles reemerged for him. So that's what happened with Austin Wood. Cal Kruger came in the game. He looked okay. Some points he looked good. Other points he struggled. He allowed 4 hits tonight. He walked a batter. He allowed a run that was unearned, but still, there were 2 errors that occurred during his time on the mound. So, that stuff's not going to help. But then again, the pitching was not great to start the game. But in relief afterwards, I thought that Lasorsa was outstanding. 2 innings of work, walked 1 batter, struck out 3, and then the crazy one, Andre Lipsius, comes into tonight's game. And no one expected him to pitch to start tonight's game. I don't know, outside of the coaching staff maybe, and maybe he had some idea, but he pitched in the state championships back in high school, but nothing since then. And he goes out there and he does an admirable job. He retires the first 5 batters he faces, allows a double, and then gets the final out as well, strikes out a batter. You really can't ask for anything more out of a fielder who comes in to pitch like that. So again, Andre Lipsius does a nice job out there on the mound. I thought that it was really good work from the normal position player who's at first base and shortstop. So, again, a nice job from Andre Lipsius tonight.
I know Lipsius did an excellent job on the mound, and you mentioned where the bats just couldn't get it going for much of the game. And
as we take a look at the upcoming schedule for the Harwich Mariners over the next couple of days, tomorrow the Harwich Mariners are home versus Falmouth. They'll play at 6:30 before heading out on the road on Saturday night to Orleans. That's a 7 p.m. start time. And you can join us right back here on Sunday when the Harwich Mariners will host the All-Star Game from White House Field. Be quite the event. Tickets $5. You can come here. The gates open at 2 p.m. So come on out to White House Field for the All-Star Game on Sunday.
Definitely should be an exciting time, especially the home run derby contest with some of these power hitters this year, including Spencer Torkelson. But again, the Mariners will be right back here at White House Field tomorrow. Final game of their 3-game homestand against Falmouth, who they have had success against this year, 3-0, including Orleans as well, where they're 4-0 against Orleans. So they'll finish up the Orleans series Saturday, and they have a game Monday against them right back here at White House. So again, a good schedule coming up if you're looking forward. As now Chatham did win today, so Chatham fell back a bit in the standings.
That's right. So Chatham now has 34 points in the Eastern Division. The Mariners at 30. At 4th place are the Orleans Firebirds. They're at 25. They suffered another loss today. And Brewster back in last place. They have 21 points. So a total of 12 games to go in this Cape Cod League season.
And the season
Or, I beg your
has-
pardon, 10 games to go. It's 34 games have been played already in this Cape Cod League season. And so, again, just 10 games to go. Mariners are up by 9 points. So they're looking pretty safe right now in terms of making the playoffs. Beyond that, we'll have to see what ends up happening.
And the season has flown by, so playoffs should be exciting, especially if Harwich can't host and they can try to jump Chatham. But until then, we'll see you back here tomorrow. First pitch at 6:30 against Falmouth. Pre-game show starts around 6:15 and 6:20. Don't forget to tune into Mariners Minute after the game and before the game as well. So that'll do it for our broadcasting partner roster. Running on Thomas and Zarella as the Harwich Mariners are defeated by the Wareham game by a final score of 6-1. We thank you for tuning in, and until tomorrow, we'll see you then.